What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be episode number 2 of the suspension overhaul on the Integra. As I was waiting for parts, I went ahead and spray painted the knuckles and the forks and some of the suspension pieces. I cleaned up the coilover, the overspray that was painted on here. On the last episode, we found a couple of issues. The first issue was blown bushings on the lower control arm. We had a busted boot on the lower ball joint. Inner and outer tie rods had play with busted boots. And also the issue with the shakiness is coming from the CV axles. So the passenger CV axle has some play in it, but the driver's side has the most play in it. Driver's side CV axle was torn really bad due to the intermediate shaft causing a lot of play in the CV axle to move in and out. So that was tearing up the boots. Eventually, the CV axle would have just popped out. And I think I have a fix for that CV axle, but it's gonna be on the next episode. And today, we are gonna be replacing the front lower control arms, sway bar bushings, sway bar links, inner and outer tie rods with new boots. And we're gonna be putting the upper control arms back on and the coilovers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later. Got an issue. It's not lining up. Great. Alright, YouTube, it's been about a week since the last clip. These Skunk2 lower control arms, they're for CRX/EF, and it says it will fit a DA with slight modifications. So what you'll have to do is actually take if you're using your stock radius arms, or your stock cross member, that big old thing, you have to modify the radius arm. So I took mine off and I actually drilled this hole in the back slightly larger. So the bolt holes on the Skunk2 lower control arms would not line up when I bolt up the front one to the back, or if I bolted up the back one to the front, it wouldn't line up. So you have to notch this hole a little bit bigger. It was just a tad bit bigger, and it's more like an oval shape. Now, if you have an aftermarket traction bar, you shouldn't have an issue, because the traction bars, they actually come a little bit bigger than the stock one. So that's what I had to do to get this to fit onto here. And also, I suggest getting longer bolts, because this bolt is too short. It only caught like maybe 2 or 3 threads. Because if you notice on the inside, there we go, there's no threads. So you want to get a longer bolt so it'll thread in all the way. That's pretty much it. So this is what you got to do to get the CRX EF Skunk2 front lower control arms to fit onto a stock cross member. You got to get a longer 17mm bolt for both, and you have to notch one of these holes to make it fit. M12 by 1.25. That's the thread pitch, and I went with 35mm.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a